Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. Miss Natasha here. I hope you're doing well. This is the Create Don't Hate Show, where we ask the question, why do you decide to create instead of hate each and every day? And I have a lovely person here with me, but I'm going to tell her before she introduces herself the three words that I thought of when I decided to ask her if she'd like to be a part of this lovely show. And the first word that I thought of was loving. The second word that I thought of was dedicated. And the third word that I thought of was resourceful. So if you could please introduce yourself, that'd be wonderful.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Brillhart. I live in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. I'm a mom of two girls. Sarah is 14 and Julie is 23. And I have a partner that I've had for 15 years plus. So, yes, that's a little bit about my family.
Thank you. You are one of my coworkers. I am just super happy to even have the opportunity to say that. One, because persons with disabilities don't really get the opportunities for gainful employment. And two, because we're actually making a difference.
Correct.
So thank you, Lindsay. I really I never thought I'd be in these spaces. And then I just started to like do things that uplift my spirits, uplift others. And then
Hmm.
these opportunities started showing itself to me.
Hmm.
So yeah. So in saying that, I I have so particular this particular interview is called the Create Don't Hate interview. I have two, where there's one is um
Hmm.
in regards to mental wellness,
Hmm.
and this one is regarding how you got to the space that you're in and that kind of journey. So I call these interviews informal interviews
Hmm.
just to get to know you a little bit better. So the first question is, did the industry you're in choose you, or did you choose the industry?
Good question. And I can tell you a little bit about my story about creating, not hating. Um, I have a little girl that is 14 years old, and where we used to live, there was a really sad story about a little boy that had autism and was in a foster family, and they didn't know he had autism and things like that. And he couldn't speak out for himself. So it's created to me because my 14-year-old is autistic nonverbal. So I'm the one creating the voice for my daughter. So it's that creating and not hating. And it's made me open my eyes more to people that don't understand. There are some people that say, okay, how do you live? What's the day in your life like? And I encourage them more to look at people that have disabilities because, like you said, some people can get employed and some people can't. And things like this are our day-to-day jobs.
It is. It is. And I think you've already answered this in the first question.
Okay.
What made you gravitate to the company you're in or create the company you have? So to me, I believe like you do a bit of both. You assist other companies
But
in
actually,
doing right.
the main organization that I'm with had no self advocates.
Mm,
They were all professionals, not Brandeis, and I work with another organization called the Association for Successful Parenting. And at that time, there were no self advocates, and I was the one of the first. I was the first self advocate that said, "Okay, absolutely, if we want to have something for parenting to be successful, I want to be one of those people because I have a successful parenting story with my daughter." Some people get their kids taken away, and I said, no, I don't want my daughter to get taken away. So I speak out about how I keep my daughter in my house. I speak up to Development of Disability Services people, things like that, because I don't think that they know our stories. Yes, they might know our stories, but I don't think they know in depth our stories.
That's right. And it's not what they see on TV or read in the books.
I mean, it could be, but it's not all the time.
No, thank you for that. What skills do you use the least in your field?
I will have to think about that for a second.
That's all right. We'll go to um we'll go to one more, and if you think of it, let us know.
Okay.
You were gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
How do you spend your time?
Well, I am a stay-at-home mom, but I am on so many boards and things like that. So that is a lot of my time. But the other part of my time is making sure my house is clean and ready. We just hired a staff person for my daughter, and she starts tomorrow. Yay. So it's going to give me some time to help take care of me because I think a lot of times parents with disabilities don't have time to take care of themselves. And that's probably the biggest thing. What I don't have time for is to take care of me. Yes, I do take care of me. Yes, I get a shower and things like that, but to self-love, things like that with myself, that would be one of the things that I don't do a lot of, and I wish I did more.
Lindsay, thank you for being so open and honest about that because we don't know a day in the life of. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do stuff like this is because maybe then you'll, as a caregiver or a person who works with people with persons with exceptionalities seen and unseen,
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
will start to do their own self-reflection, their own self love with regards to taking time to themselves, resting, taking a breath, taking a deep breath and being like they will be able to assist others in a more efficient manner just by doing what you just said. So kudos to your support person coming in and giving you that whatever amount of minutes it is, those well needed minutes.
And sometimes you were talking about mental health because what happened is I was going through a mental health breakdown. I didn't know I was going through a mental health breakdown and I needed to talk to somebody. And the person said, "You need help in your house." And I have a partner that I've had for 15 years, but I'm sorry, no offense to any men, but the women do a lot of work with the kids and things like that. The men are were when we were taught when we were young, the men do all the work outside the home, and then the women take care of the home stuff. And
Yeah.
I was looking at things like, where do I start things like that? So I'm glad that I have this time with the new person, so I can focus on things inside the house. I will be in the house about 90% of the time, but I'll be working on other things, organizing closets, things like that, getting rid of clothes, things like that that we don't need, things like that. So yes,
And as I hear you speak, I hear that you're a mom that loves to be of service.
absolutely.
And being of service, you do need to take time to debrief and decompress. So all those things is like you didn't understand what your body was saying or doing, but then you kind of like got that intuition because if you're not well, how are you supposed to help your young people, right?
Exactly.
So I'm
Yep.
so happy that you like kind of reached out and then found the like I know it probably was a long process, but found the right roads to take in order to like get access to this uh,
Mhm.
some peace.
And if people have any questions after, I can leave my email in the chat part at the bottom or whatever. So if people have questions about how to get a good provider and things like that, I'm willing to talk to people because sometimes like when you are and I are talking, they don't think about things then, but they might think about things after. So I'm
Yes.
willing to give you my work email address. So we can if people have questions, they can contact me.
Thank you for that. See, you're just like Let's give. All right, let's get going.
Okay.
All right. Okay, in your opinion,
Uh,
how does one become great?
I think to become great, you have to have a great team. That's what when I think about great, because team means together everyone achieves more. And if you don't have that team, you're lost. Even with us working together, we have a great team that works with us. It's not just us; it's the brand nice people and the other people that work together. Yes.
Wow. That's like people say I'd be delusional because I believe that, but oh, you'll never find like there's no such thing, but there is such a thing. There is. There you are able to bring your all your thoughts together and come up with a great plan and strategy for execution of the task.
And sometimes there aren't good people on your team, and you have to learn to say, hey, this isn't a good person for the team. Let's figure out how to put them in a different spot in the team or something like that. For
Yeah.
example, with things with my daughter's school, and my daughter's 14, she's in school, and sometimes they don't like me because sometimes I send them nasty emails because they don't work well with my daughter. And it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I've had to go to the principal a few times and say, hey, this is exactly what my daughter needs. If she's not going to get these things, we can go other places. I don't want to go other places, but sometimes you have to think about that with kids.
Yeah, you definitely do. We are their first advocates. And when
Mm-hmm.
they see someone speaking for them, then they have more confidence to be out there in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh man. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is this where you thought you'd end up in terms of your positions that you've held, the spaces that you work with?
Actually, when I went to school, and uh, long story short, my other half had a little boy that he lost when he was young.
Oh,
The little boy was young, like less than 2 months. And I have my daughter that is older. She's 23. And I didn't think I was going to have any other kids. And God brought this little angel into our world and like opened our eyes. I thought that I was going to be a travel agent. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a
oh,
travel agent and book
wow.
flights and stuff for people. But yeah, God brought this angel into our world that we didn't think is. My little girl was born less than 2 pounds when she was born. She had clothes like Cabbage Patch Kid doll clothes when she was born. So it opens my eyes to see like all the little babies and things like that. Yes, there are some that we have some kids that are bigger, but when you have a baby that's less than 2 pounds, it opens your eyes to see what they can do. And she's 14 and she's thriving. Yes, she might not be talking, but she's thriving in other ways.
Yeah, who? You darn right she is. That's so precious. That's so precious. And it just like even I would think you are already a person that serves on in the community, but it probably made you even more of a advocate, more of a doer in terms of making sure other young children can get the
Yeah,
and families can get the
because
things they need.
our community is not very disability friendly where we live. Yes, our bigger community is, but like we live in a subdivision that's not very disability friendly. And I think that me being there and my daughter being there has opened the eyes to the people that live in our community.
Oh, wow. And look at how we could be lessons without even being lessons.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Most proud of. And I
Things
think you said already a lot of things, but
Actually, I'm proud of the work that I do. I didn't, like I said, I didn't think I was going to do some of this work. I was going to be a travel agent. booking flights and things like that, traveling, things like that. That's something that I like to do when I'm not with my kids, or take trips and things like that. Yes, I like to include them, but sometimes we have to do things for ourselves. But that's what I'm most proud of, doing the work that I do, and going some of the times going to these places and talking about our families, not mine. Yes, mine, but all families, because the families don't get represented a lot.
No, they don't. And that's and I believe you look like you wouldn't associate yourself with certain types of spaces unless they were doing the right thing for other
Correct?
families or children,
Yeah.
etc. So it's like you're if you've already done the work to vet some of these spaces and you say, oh, Lindsay says, oh, you should try this place, I would believe it because you've already done so much work already.
But I'm still learning. I
Yeah,
think this is a learning process that we have. It's just one step after the other. There might be things that you think are awesome that I don't think are awesome.
okay.
So we have to learn that way too.
That's so true. That's so true. All right. Do you have meaningful relationships and how do you nourish those relationships?
Actually, I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about having friends with Super Bowl. I live in the United States. It's a big Super Bowl area, and they were like, "You need to have friends and things like that." I'm learning to have friends. I think that with my daughter and things like that, it's harder to have friends and harder to have relationships. But yes, I have relationships with people that are on like Zoom and things like that and don't live near me. But I think it's harder for me to have friends that live closer to me. Yes, I have a best friend. We are on Marco Polo every day talking about life. She has a daughter that is 20 years old, and she's like telling me about things that are going on, but I could sit here and talk to her about just other things. Like the other day we were talking about my house. She wanted to know how I got my house, like where I came from before. To survive, I had to go from a bad situation to a good situation and things like that, and she was asking about how I got my house and things like that. But I think it's harder for some people to have friends. I mean, I'm an introvert. You would never know me. I'm a very much introvert. And to go out in the community, yes, I speak up for my family, but I don't speak up all the time. So yes.
Yeah. Thank you for that because that's exactly why I asked this question because I struggle with friendships and I have people on Zoom as well and there's some that are in my area or further away so I don't really get to see them as often and it's just like how do you navigate that? And I just thought I'm going to ask other people.
No, you're as smart because other people might have ideas.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So thank you. What have you done for yourself in the last month?
Not anything big, but there are big things coming. When we got this provider, the provider said, you can go on a date. And my eyes opened huge.
Oh,
It's like, okay, I've had a partner for 15 years. Yes, I have a mom that is around, but my mom's not very supportive of my daughter. But when the provider told me, and that was about 2 weeks ago, she said, we're going to work up to you going out on a date. I looked at her like, who in the world are you? What in the world are you doing? What in the world is going on? So that is something exciting that is going to happen. Maybe not in the next month, but in the next probably, I'm going to say 2 to 3 months. But yes, I'm excited to go out without my daughter. Yes, I love my daughter, but yes, I want to work on the relationship with my other half as well, because sometimes I work on me and my daughter too much. And it's like, okay, sometimes we have to work on other people. My 23-year-old daughter, I don't see her very often. She doesn't live with me, but I see her enough. But I want to go and do things with her. She loves WWE. There's a WWE event coming up in February, and I said no, I can't. But I said in the future, once we get this the staffing workout, I can go to things like that with you.
thank you for sharing that. It's so sweet. It warms my heart to hear other people's stories. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that because I didn't really, I guess I asked people questions and they never really answered. I just like I'm innately inquisitive on how other people live and thrive. And it just like, whoa. And I get to learn how I can like be a better friend. Like that's what you taught me. And keep working. Don't give up because you're going to be able to get what you need. It won't be maybe right now. Maybe it'll
Absolutely.
be in the near future.
Yeah. And because we with that dating thing with my partner, we went on a date one time and we were out of town. My partner's family lives about 4 hours away. And we had somebody and we hired somebody from a website. And I'm not going to tell you the website or anything like that, but
Mhm.
we hired somebody from a website. That night, we got a call at 1 o'clock in the morning from my mom. You need to come home now. And I looked at her and I looked at my phone and I was like, what in the world? We will be home in the morning. The person that was with my daughter left. They didn't know about people that have disabilities and things like that. So, yeah. But things are better now, and my daughter has my mom around in case she needs my daughter around. But now we have that provider that's going to come in our house starting tomorrow that can learn my daughter, so that if we were going to go out of town, and they have somebody else in a backup just in case, that we got to know, and we were like, okay, this is the person I want. Yes, that we brought somebody else in to work with my daughter, so in case of an emergency, the backup person is an awesome lady as well.
Yes. I believe that building rapport is like the thing that must be done.
Mhm.
Like in order for the I just don't understand how are these people getting jobs? Okay, I can do what you just said. I'm able to do that because I come into the space non-judgmentally, wholeheartedly. This
Mhm.
is my child until you come back.
Mhm.
Love you, see you later. And
Mhm.
that's how it works.
And that's what happened. That's what we did. This is what, hey, we have somebody taking care of our daughter. Actually, what happened is we went to Taco Bell. Where everybody has Taco Bell in Canada. You have Taco Bell too, or something like Taco Bell. We went to Taco Bell to get something to eat just to make sure that it was going to be a good fit. And we thought it was a good fit, but when we went out of town, it wasn't a good fit.
It
And I
wasn't.
wish they would have let us know when we were out of town and said, okay, this isn't a good fit. So yeah.
And it just shows that I call those create don't hate moments because they hated instead of created and they
Mm-hmm.
could have created something special. And instead it's
Absolutely.
like that you hate it and it's like no, that's not what like no one's supposed to be doing that. But anyway, I'm
And
happy that
real
it's
quick with that, the provider came in and we interviewed not with the provider, but we interviewed with the second person that would be in charge. She's a supervisor, and we interviewed with somebody else. And they said, what kind of relationship do you want? Do you want somebody that could be part of your family? Like, for example, my daughter is 14. She's going to graduate from high school in the next 3 years, 4 years, something like that. She was like, is it somebody that you would want at your daughter's high school graduation? Is it somebody that you just want to be around? And I said, absolutely. I wanted somebody to be a part of my family. And the way I think about it is, if something was going to happen to me or my partner, I would feel comfortable with that second in charge. Maybe not the first, because we don't know the first as well, but that second person in charge would be okay with my daughter in case something happened to me.
that's right. That's right. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I have two more questions.
Okay.
Um, the first one is, how do you navigate hope?
How do I navigate hope? I see the future.
Mm,
I see things that are changing for us with people with disabilities, things like that. And yes, there are people that are good in this world and there are people in this bad, but I try to keep a positive mind out. For example, in the United States, we just got a new president, and there are some people that think that he's really, really mean, but it's like, okay, you have to think about it in a different standpoint. It's not just about you, it's about everybody taking care of everything. So
mm,
so my hope, how I that's how I think about it. Is like, it's not just about me. If it was this about me, then I would be like, okay, no, I want somebody else. But it's about everybody taking care of everybody.
mm. And the last one, How do you create instead of hate?
I make sure that there's opportunities for others to be involved. I think that if one person is involved, it's harder. So I make sure that other people can get involved with things that I'm doing. I tell people about things if it's something in my community. And I refer people to our organizations, even Brandeis. Sometimes we are like, okay, what's going on in Brandeis? There are certain people like Joanne and Sue and people like that that I reach out to, or I could reach out to them if I had somebody that was interested in this parent thing.
Wow. Um, you're definitely community and connection oriented, and team
I'm not
oriented.
community because I'm still learning about my community, but I'm connection oriented. So I'm learning stuff about my community, and I've
Right.
lived in my community for 5 or 6 years, and there are still things I don't know. So I'm learning to be more connected.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Thank you.
You're
It, it
welcome.
it's it's a privilege. I just again, I didn't know. I thought I was just like whatever people say that I am, as opposed to what are you and what do you like and believe in. So
Exactly.
interviewing and just life experiences has gotten me feeling I can be able to be a positive role model for my children, but also others. I could be a positive model for persons with disabilities and also mental wellness challenges. And like hearing your story just keep like helps me to like stay strong.
And that's what I thrive a lot on. You were like, what do you thrive on? Other people's stories. Yes, you have a story too, and I have a story. I think I thrive on other people's stories just to make things powerful for my family. There might be a family that has somebody that has a disability that has a powerful story for their community. And it's like, okay, absolutely. I want to be involved with things like this. And it's like, okay, yeah,
And I'm glad that you've done your due diligence to be able to help your daughter and to be able to be there for your eldest as well, because I too have a 23-year-old and she is away on her own as well. And it's like you just want to be the best mom throughout a certain time, and then they have to start their journey, but they should always remember that they could come to us and talk with us and
and
handle
see, my daughter
it.
is not like that, but I'm teaching her,
Yeah.
hey, I'm here for you and things like that, because at the age they think that they are everything. But I'm teaching exactly,
Yeah.
but I'm teaching her that, hey, mom's around if you need me. If you don't need me, that's fine, but I'm a phone call away. Give me a call if you need me, if you need me.
Yeah, that's exactly how try to get her to remember too. All right, so I'm going to close by saying thank you, thank you, thank you, and I'm going to
Welcome.
say why I started Create Don't Hate, and then I'm going to ask if you have any lasting thoughts you'd like to share, and also your contact information if you'd like to share.
Okay.
So I'll just read this first and then I'll give you the floor. Create Don't Hate was born out of frustration. The frustration of individuals hating on people like me with differences. We wanted to start a movement of hope, courage, and love to build community and connection in the process. Create Don't Hate is a real practical way of giving hope to those who have been muted and shut down because of just being who they are. Create Don't Hate is an anthem that I would play to get through the tough times. Miss Natasha here, and I'm just thrilled to have this opportunity. I hope you all enjoyed this discussion, this informal interview, and I'm going to give the floor to Lindsay and ask if you'd like to share anything else with our viewers and listeners, and also if you would like to please share where they can get in contact with you.
Absolutely. The thing I would tell you is to advocate. I think that's something that we can tell people to wear black and blue. Advocate, get out there, talk to your people in your communities. If it's not in your communities, you know people on email. We all work with email, things like that. That would be my biggest thing. And connect, advocate, and connect. They're probably the two biggest things. And remember that people don't have labels. A lot of times that people have labels, and we want to keep the labels on jars. Somebody taught me that a long time ago. Keep the labels on jars, not on people, because people are people and they change and things like that. And jars and things don't change. Easiest way to connect me, Lindsay, LINDSAYBTASP@gmail.com. Again, Lindsay, LINDSAYBTASP@gmail.com. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to watching your Create Don't Hate from other people and get information from me as well.
Yay. That's right. I loved having you. And thank you.